Today, I'm going to bring an added layer of clarity to something that all you empaths out there might be scratching your head about lately. And that's connected to an idea that's been trending for the past few years among spiritual teachers that empaths are simply people who have cultivated an acute awareness to energy sensitivity because of trauma. And I want to expand upon that because defining an empath as being a person who has extra sensitivity to subtle energy because of trauma really is a misnomer. While it is true that empaths are people who are extra aware of and sensitive to and affected by subtle energy, there's way more to being an empath than that. Welcome back, my friends. This is Carrie Konyha. I'm a professional psychic reader, shamanic energy healing practitioner, and astrologer in Sedona, Arizona, coming on to share some insights today about what it really means to be an empath. And again, this trending idea that empaths simply are people who have cultivated an extra awareness of subtle energy because of trauma simply is not completely true. Empaths are so much more than that. We are not born into the world as a blank slate to be programmed. And while we do experience conditioning and domestication and socialization throughout our lifetime, each soul that is born onto the planet is born with an embodiment of their own unique spiritual energy and lineage. And empaths are born, not created. Again, it is true that empaths are people who are energetically sensitive more than a person who's not an empath, but empaths are also these things. Empaths are people who are old souls, or what I call evolutionary souls, meaning you are an old soul that chose to incarnate on the earth at this time, specifically to support and do your part to support the evolution of humanity. Empaths are people who are highly gifted intuitively, highly creatively gifted. Oftentimes, empaths are naturally very gifted in arts and sciences. Empaths are people who are naturally deeply connected with the spiritual dimensions of life. The souls of empaths naturally embody the energetic or soulful archetype of being a natural healer, mentor, counselor, teacher, and coach. The empaths ultimately are super manifestors, and that's because empaths, when they are empowered as an empath, are masters at managing energy, and they understand that manifesting is not a practice that we do, but it's a state of being that we are in that ultimately attracts that which we are intending to manifest to us. Now, if you're an empath and you're watching this, you might be feeling, well, I don't really feel completely dropped into all these things right now. And if that's the case, you may be an empath who is stuck in the shadow components of being an empath. Now, you may have heard of doing shadow work and that we all have a shadow side. And our shadow side is comprised of the aspects of ourselves that we consciously or unconsciously reject and deny and disown. And that does happen through our early conditioning, socialization, and domestication. If we recognize that there are things about us that don't seem to be being encouraged or supported, and maybe they're even being shunned as we are moving through our environment, that will prompt us to actually self-reject the things that we witness other people seeming to reject around us. And that is connected to fundamental survival instincts. So if you are an empath that was not encouraged and taught how to be in your empowerment as an empath, then that puts all of those amazing qualities that I just talked about potentially in your unconscious shadow side. If you are a person who did experience a lot of trauma growing up, then that may have supported you in cultivating what was already a natural propensity towards being able to really keenly read subtle energy. But if you're a true empath, you had that ability before there was any trauma in your life. And I will also say this. A lot of empaths are born into family situations that are toxic, dysfunctional, and come with trauma. That component is a part of what I call our light worker training. So we're born as an empath. We're born into the world to contribute to the evolution of humanity. And ultimately, it's us healing through our own trauma experiences that uniquely prepare us and qualify us to be a tremendous support and guide and mentor for other people who are maybe not as far along on that path of healing as we have become. So let me share some of these highlights for you about the shadow side of an empath. A lot of them are connected to codependent, people-pleasing behaviors, and that's because of this. People who are true empaths are very sensitive to subtle energy dynamics happening around them. And when you are not taught how to manage that, it can be extremely uncomfortable to always be feeling the feelings and the energies that are going on with people around you. So empaths that are in their shadow side often do revert to people-pleasing, codependent behaviors because when you feel good, that means I feel good. When everything's okay out here, then I don't have to exert any extra energy to manage my own energy. However, while it's normal for most every empath in life to go through this sort of shadow period, dark night of the soul, we have to remember that these are the things that compel us to be on that path of healing and spiritual seeking that prepares us to step fully into our role as an empowered light worker. Another shadow component of empaths can be connected to not trusting your instincts. And while this seems very contradictory, considering that empaths are people who are born naturally spiritually gifted with sharp intuition, again, if you were raised in an environment that is not supporting that, or you could be raised in an environment where you're sort of like the truth teller in the realm of a dysfunctional, toxic environment, and people around you not liking that and then shutting you down can lead you to believe that your perceptions intuitively are not accurate. And we begin to distrust our own intuitions and instincts. But realize that this is like a shadow component that you can bring healing to by being on a journey of learning once again how to cultivate, strengthen, and develop confidence in your intuition. Of course, not trusting your own intuitions and instincts can have a trickle-down effect of you doubting or second-guessing the choices that you're making in life. and you could become riddled with self-doubt. Because empaths are very aware of other people's energy and very conscientious around wanting to tread lightly in the world and be bringers of light in the world, sometimes empaths can have difficulty in speaking their own truth about their needs or preferences if they are concerned that their truth may hurt another person's feelings, which again ultimately is a people-pleasing, codependent behavior to take a look at. This is also connected to the fact that true-born empaths oftentimes have challenges and difficulties around setting boundaries. And that also ultimately is connected to a people-pleasing behavior that an empath may resort to in efforting to dodge a situation that could be uncomfortable for them. All of these people-pleasing, shadowy behaviors of empaths that are not empowered as an empath are all things that can be easily brought into the light of awareness and balanced and brought back into an empowered expression simply through some self-study, introspection, and exploring pathways for shifting into your empowerment as an empath. So here I'm going to just say I do have an entire playlist on my YouTube channel that's called Empaths Empowerment Journey that gives a lot of helpful tips and insights for free on my channel that can help you to be taking those first steps back into empowerment as an empath. The last two things I'm going to talk about here are big. And I see this all the time with my clients. Empaths are people who are very curious about their spiritual journey in life. And so I do see a lot of empaths as my clients. And one thing that I've noticed with empaths who are not in their empowerment as an empath is that they have a tendency to hold their energy in a very drawn in, constricted, retracted way. And people who are empaths do that as an unconscious attempt to guard or protect themselves from the uncomfortability that comes with being energetically sensitive. But honestly, guys, that's like the worst possible thing that you can do as an empath, because when you're contracting and constricting your energy, you're literally diminishing the flow of life force energy in your own body. And doing that over a long period of time habitually can lead to physical, mental, emotional health disorders and diseases. There's a better way to keep you protected from the uncomfortabilities that can come with feeling other people's energy. And it's what I call radiant glow exercise. I do have another video on my channel here that talks about how to do that. So I'll link it up here so you can begin to practice that. And then the last thing I'm going to mention here today is that empaths can experience uncertainty or confusion at times because we feel other people's energy so strongly that it can feel like our own energy. Oftentimes this happens when there's some type of global event that is a catastrophe. If there's some type of world event that's happening that's a catastrophe that is affecting huge groups of people, empaths around the world can feel the despair of that energy or the urgency of that energy or the unsettledness of that energy, but don't necessarily have a sense of where it's coming from. It doesn't make sense. And so we start questioning ourselves, like, why do I feel this way? What is wrong with me? And here's a quick tip that you can do in that case. If you ever feel that you are having some type of energetic overwhelm that you can't pinpoint where it's coming from, there's nothing on your mind that's leading to this energy, and you really just can't pinpoint it, you can ask the universe, your spirit guides, your own higher self, your own inner soul. Just ask, is this energy that I'm feeling, is it mine? And trust what you get intuitively. And if you get a no, then that's going to help you to like refocus your energy. One more thing that this is bringing to mind. Empaths oftentimes have issues with taking other people's actions and energies personally. And that's because we can feel other people's energy so much that if somebody is being in a way that their energy feels off in any type of way, and we're in the vicinity of that, when we are inexperienced or uneducated about energy awareness, it's easy to presume, oh, I can feel this person's energy being this way. I'm in the vicinity of it. So it must mean that this person's energy is somehow in response to my energy, which means they don't like me or they're judging me or something like that, which 9 times out of 10 is not the case. You're just feeling the person's own energetic dominant vibration that they would be in, whether they're in the vicinity of you or not. This is one of those things that can actually lead to parts of your soul gifts ending up in your shadow side. So if you are an empath and these insights are making some light bulbs going off in your awareness, I would definitely check out my Empaths Empowerment Journey playlist. I also have a playlist that's called Empowering Intuition. As a psychic reader, I actually specialize in teaching psychic development. I have an entire online course that people can take. But there's a lot of helpful insights and tips to get you started for free on my YouTube channel. Are you an empath that's been experiencing some of these shadow sides that I've mentioned? Are you an empath that is on that journey to empowerment and the aspects that I've talked about what an empowered empath is, which is like the true nature of you as an empath that I started the video with? Are you resonating with that? I would love to hear your stories about being an empath in the comments below. Please do share, and I'm happy to contribute some responses. And if you have questions about topics having to do with being an empath that you would like me to address in a future video, drop it in the comments below and I will respond when I can. Hope this was helpful, guys. All my love, blessings, namaste, and I will see you in the next video.